I'm Kevin Davis, and we're back for the third part of a three-part mini-series about chivalry and the code of chivalry according to the Song of Roland, which was written back at about 1100, and it was covering the times of Charlemagne. In the first two episodes, we covered the first, I believe, 11 of these points in the code of chivalry. So if you haven't already heard those, please go back and listen. That will explain. I just kind of briefly go over the points of the code and, give my own little tidbit of opinion about each point. And that's the same I'm going to do in this show. We're going to cover the last 6 points of the code of conduct, and there are 17 overall. Now, the first of these 6 is to keep faith. And I think that's a very valuable one for today, because I think in these COVID times and times where it's hard to trust anyone or anything, and we're all being kind of divided and split, to keep faith, we need to first of all know what we should have faith in. And of course, I think most people listening to this know that it is certainly not in our governments. It's not in our society. It's not in our neighbors even. It is, of course, in God. And if we have that faith in God, we can have our faith in everything else, that it will work out as it is meant to work out. If we have that mentality that all that matters is God's will, then whatever happens, whatever comes our way, can be dealt with. And I think that is what they mean by keeping faith. The next one is to all times speak the truth. And this, again, is a very important one not just now, I think of all times, obviously, to tell the truth. And I think it doesn't just mean you don't tell lies. It also means that you are honest with other people and with yourself. You don't beat around the bush. You don't play games. You don't, speak about things that are not true. And I think that we really get farther away from that in a society where it's more about whatever you can earn for yourself and whatever you can, do to push yourself forward. And in the end, it never works out like you want it to or like it should, because of course you're going against God's commandments and you're breaking one of those commandments. So of course, don't just think of it as not telling lies, but really truly be truthful, and not just with other people, but with yourself. Be truthful with yourself. Understand yourself and your failings and what you're going through. Don't try to lie to yourself to make things better or to make yourself feel a little more comfortable. Be really honest and truthful with others and yourself at all times. The next point is to persevere to the end in any enterprise begun. And this is, again, a very beautiful, valuable thing for our times. I think many people start something and never finish it. I can speak for myself very much so that I've fallen to that issue of being easily distracted, or if something doesn't immediately work out, then I give up on it and try something new. And I think that's maybe more of a sanguine personality trait, but I'm sure many people also struggle with that. And I think that no matter what it is, big or small, if it's a a project or a relationship or a prayer or how you are going through Lent and what you're giving up, don't give up on it. Keep through with it, because this is what builds character. If you make a lot of promises and don't fulfill them, then it is very damaging to your soul, but also damaging to you as a person. And again, I can speak to that as for myself. I did go through a time where I would make promises and not keep them, and it really hurt me psychologically, even, because eventually you stop trusting yourself and you stop respecting yourself. And the self-respect, it doesn't need to be this modern idea of, oh, I'm the greatest and I'm the best and I'm the prettiest and all these things. But you do need to have self-respect in terms of knowing that you are a creature of God, and that with God's help, we can achieve anything we put our minds to, if, of course, again, it's God's will. Okay, the next point is to respect the honor of women. Of course, always a true statement. And this goes, I think anyone listening to this, they know, okay, some things are very obvious. Some things you don't do or talk about with women, or how you treat them. And I think men in general listening to this podcast are probably pretty good about that. But I think what we could work on better, at least speaking from my own experience, is to not talk about crude topics or things like that around women. You know, if it's bathroom humor or if it's, you know, anything of the sort, you know, if it's with your guys, that's one thing. It's probably still not the greatest thing. Come on, find something else to talk about. But with women, I think we really need to respect that they are the more sensitive, delicate sex, and that does matter, even if society tells us that it doesn't. Even if society is trying to tell us that there is no difference, that's absolutely bonk. You know, they, of course, bunk, I should say, that they are different and they should be different, and this is how society should work. And the fact that you know, the world is telling us that that's not the case should make us want even more to appreciate women and treat them like ladies. Don't treat them like your little brother. Treat them like ladies. You know, open the door for them. You know, don't speak rudely or coarsely around them. And try to treat them like you are a knight and they are a lady. It sounds cheesy, it sounds like too much, but I really think it's not. I think that the world would be a much better place if even just a few of us do that, because if we do, the rest of the world sees it. And again, we are the light. We are the light on top of the mountain that everyone else, you know, looks to. The second to last is to never refuse a challenge from an equal. Now, the last two are a little less, I don't know, timely, I suppose. Never refuse a challenge from an equal. I mean, yeah, I think this is not something we worry about too much. I mean, I guess if someone comes up to you and throws his gauntlet on the ground and offers to fight you, then don't turn your back on it. But you know, I think that the point being, be tough, be manly, and we've done a whole podcast about that. That don't back away from being a guy and being strong and being literally physically strong and working out and having a good fit body. It doesn't have to be vain. You don't have to have a six-pack, but you should be strong enough to care for your family, to care for, you know, your parents or whoever it is. And that is absolutely important, and something that, again, the world is trying to get us away from. You know, guys wearing skinny jeans and guys, you know, with these long girlish hair. I mean, I think that there's a direct purpose from the devil to make men more effeminate, and we absolutely should fight that and be strong. And to do that, you have to work hard and you have to train your body and you have to eat well and stuff. And this is something that we should absolutely try to aim for. Now, finally, the last of the 17 codes, or 17 points, I guess, of the code of conduct according to the Song of Roland, which was written in the about 1100 after Christ. The final one is never to turn the back upon a foe. Now, this one, I think, again, it's not super with our times. I mean, you know, we're not usually in hand-to-hand combat these days as much as they were, you know, 1,000 years ago. But I think that we can look at this one in terms of never turn your back on the devil and the world, because that is our foe. We don't have some, you know, blackguard knight, you know, attacking us or attacking, you know, the women that we love or whatever. That doesn't typically happen. But our battles are every day with the world, the flesh, and the devil. That is our enemy. And we should never turn our back upon our enemy and think of it as, you know, we can handle this another day, or this fight is for another day. We should fight this every single day, every minute, every second of the day, because that is how often the devil is attacking us in every way. You know, if it's with our senses, if it's with our, you know, our flesh, it's always attacking us, and we should attack it head on. Of course, the only way we can do that is with God's help and the help of Our Lady and the help of the saints. And if we take them as our battle companions, if we pray the rosary and take the rosary as our weapon, then our foes will be the ones who turn their backs and flee from us. But of course, we cannot do it alone, and we cannot even begin to do it alone. So we have to remember to strengthen ourselves with prayer, with spiritual reading. You know, become friends with the saints, become friends with your guardian angel, become the son to Our Lady. And if you do that, then again, the devil and the world and the flesh will be the ones who turn their back on us, because we are the ones with the strength and the power of God behind us. And that's how I'm going to wrap up these 3 mini parts to the code of conduct. I hope everyone's enjoyed it. Just a little something to think about, that just because it seems old-fashioned, because it seems a little like something from a book, doesn't mean it's not something that we should take into consideration and take seriously. We are knights of Christ, and we are the light of the world.
You've been listening to the Catholic Family Podcast. If you enjoyed this show, please share it with your friends and family. You can support the production on Patreon and PayPal, and you can reach Kevin at kevin89davis@gmail.com. Ad Maiorem Dei Gloriam, all for the greater glory of God.